Got a lot of them this time. No men. Although somebody wrote me an email today, I don't know if he showed up, and said, I want to throw my name in the hat. And I know his name. I've never seen him before. And somebody else who was supposed to be coming with him isn't here. So I think I said, well, we're going to pull your name out of the hat and we'll be fine. So I don't know if I'm going to pick you. I don't know if you came here just to be listened to. But the first name, I'm rolling my eyes because I know she's a great storyteller, and this is how I met her, telling a 3-minute story. How many years ago? Gabi Coatsworth. Gabi. Gabi Coatsworth. And here's what I said about Gabi. She's British. She can get away with anything. So please know our serial murderess who can get away with anything, Gabi. Yeah, I haven't heard you tell a story in years.
Thank you, everybody. I am British. I sound like the Queen, as you know, but in fact, my terrible secret is that I'm half Polish. And I was born in England and grew up in England, and my father was a member of the Polish government in exile, so he could never go back to Poland after the war. And yet he kept up huge correspondence with the family over there, and his brother, who was a canon, but kind in the church, and who had spent some time in prison. We knew this because the letters would arrive with big blue lines through. The Russians thought that he was working for the CIA, and he might well have been. So the family in Poland was this big thing, and my father could never go back. So what they did was my parents arranged for me and my 2 older twin sisters to travel with a few other Polish children in the same boat for a vacation to Poland. And I'm not even sure there was air travel between, not because I'm that old, which I am, but because relationships in those days between the countries were very kind of sketchy. So we were told, don't say anything, don't do anything, do whatever you're told, and above all, Gabi, shut up. So, I don't know why, me especially, but we took a boat across the channel, then we took a train, and the train lasted for 2 days. It went through Berlin, and it was really very clear then to me, because I'd heard all about this, and I was 11, that on the west side of Berlin, everything was in Technicolor. There were billboards, there were big shops with red sort of frontages, and so on and so forth. The minute you crossed that line from the West Berlin station to the East Berlin station, it was horrendous. It was grey. It looked like every sort of bad movie you've ever seen. People were living still in bombed-out buildings, and you could see these people living there with sort of roofs but sides of walls were missing, and so on. This was 1960-ish. And so we got to Warsaw, and the one thing my mother had said to me is, now look, they have no food there, so whatever you do, do not eat too much. Just have a little bit, and don't eat too much. So I thought, okay. We get to the station, we're met by my uncle, the canon, and my aunt, not married, of course, because priests don't marry. They took us home to my aunt's for breakfast, and there is this enormous Polish breakfast, which consists of rolls and cake and sausages and cheese and cream cheese and rye bread and more sausages and ham and the rest of it. And the 3 of us who were ravenous sat there and looked at it and went, I will just have a little piece of bread, thank you. This was the very first time in my life that I realized that my mother was not always right. My aunt practically burst into tears. She looked at my uncle and said, what have we done wrong? This is terrible. And so I said to my sisters, okay, girls, let's go. So we did. We ate. And we spent an extraordinary 2 or 3 weeks traveling around the country. Because my uncle was a priest, everywhere we stayed was with nuns. they had sort of like guest quarters, and whenever my uncle showed up, he was kind of good looking, they would fawn over him and make a fuss. And last very quick one, we're up in the mountains in Poland and didn't manage to get enough train tickets to get us all back to Krakow, so my uncle walks me over to a truck and says, do you think you could deliver her to Krakow? It's only about 4 hours, and I'll meet you at the station because we don't have enough tickets for everybody. They put me in the back of the truck, and it was like a pickup truck. Only thing was it was carrying powdered cement. When I got to Krakow, I was entirely white, and my hair was standing out like this. It was the best trip of my life.